Let's talk about the way that you've handled the response in New York City. I want you to take a listen to yourself and your message to New Yorkers. These are 3 different clips. One's from January, one's from February, and one's from early this month.
It's important, just go about your lives, continue living as you have. New Yorkers should go about our lives, continue doing what we do. This should not stop you from going about your life, should not stop you from going to Chinatown and going out to eat. We want people still to go on about their lives. We want people to rest assured that a lot is being done to protect them.
That last clip was from March 13th, just about 2 weeks ago. In retrospect, is that message, at least in part, to blame for how rapidly the virus has spread across the city?
You know, Jake, we should not be focusing, in my view, on anything looking back on any level of government right now. This is just about how we save lives going forward. We all were working. Everybody was working with the information we had and trying, of course, to avoid panic. And at that point, for all of us, trying to keep, not only protect lives, but keep the economy and the livelihoods together, keep ensuring that people had money to pay for food and medicine. I mean, this was a very different world just a short time ago. But the bottom line is, none of us have time to look backwards. I'm trying to figure out how we get through to Sunday, next Sunday, and then what we do the week after that. And that's the only thing we should be talking about in this country. And by the way, any other place in this country that thinks this is just going to pass them by and is going to be a non-issue, it's in all 50 states now. And what we're all learning at the front line is this moves very, very fast in a way none of us have ever experienced in our lives. So the focus has to be on getting the personnel, the ventilators, the supplies where they need to be. And then when each region of the country starts to see that improvement, the way Dr. Fauci just described to you, when you actually see the caseloads go down and you actually have the testing to know what's going on, then send those personnel, send those ventilators to the next place that needs them most. That's what we're going to have to do. And I think the military is the only part of our nation that can actually organize and engineer such a massive effort.
So, Mr. Mayor, you say you don't think you should look backwards, but you've criticized President Trump for, quote, actions that are far, far behind the curve. I mean, Mr. Mayor, weren't your actions in this outbreak also far, far behind the curve?
Jake, I in real time said, and this was weeks and weeks ago as it was happening, that we were not being given the testing we needed. I think the big historical point here that will be looked back on is if this country had had the testing when we needed it, this could have been a very different reality. But there's no time to go back over that. There's only time to focus on getting through the next week and the week after that. I mean, you could ask all the questions you want. They're fair, but I think the time to deal with these questions is after this war is over, because literally here in New York City, it feels like a wartime environment. I am talking to doctors, nurses, frontline public health leaders. They're literally trying to figure out what's going to happen just days from now. And they're watching an escalation, Jake, that we've never seen in our lives. The only comparison is to 100 years ago, the Spanish influenza pandemic. The only comparison in terms of our economy and our lives is to the Great Depression. None of us have ever experienced this. We've got to focus on today, tomorrow, next week if we're going to get through this.